Luke Tanaka here with Elmhurst wrestling coach Steve Marianetti. And coach, it was a really great showing at the Al Hanke. You had 10 wrestlers placed inside the top four, 3 individual champions, and a second place finish. What was your biggest takeaway from the Al Hanke overall?
I think the biggest takeaway is we're on the right track. We had guys competing extremely well. There's always things to work on. That's how it works. But guys were looking in shape. They were looking hungry. They were firing off shots and attacks and scoring points. And so I was pretty happy with the big picture of where we're at.
Tim Novarini at 157 pounds really breezed through the field en route to being named the most outstanding wrestler. And really, he's acted as a late addition to the program. So what is he going to bring to the table now coming to the second half of the season?
Yeah, we saw him compete a little bit first semester, but it's second semester where he's really going now. He's good. I mean, he's extremely good, and we saw that. And when he's on and when he's attacking, he's tough to beat. He was holding back the first few matches we've seen, so this is the first tournament where he really opened up, and that was something we've been working with him on, is to get out of his comfort zone and to attack and to score points. And that was the biggest thing, not that he was winning, but how he was winning.
And then Anthony Munoz, I believe, had a really good showing. He placed second at 125, but he was able to go toe-to-toe with a top 5 wrestler. So after going 13-20 last year, now coming into this year, how has he improved to be able to compete at that high national level?
Yeah, Anthony lives the sport, and I mean the biggest thing is consistency, and he consistently trains, on his own all summer long, works on things, asks questions, and he keeps making himself better. He doesn't have the experience that a lot of these guys do. He started wrestling late, so he's still catching up, but that also means he's still hungry. And the kid he wrestled from Stevens Point ranked 3rd in the country, I believe, and he was right there with them. And just a couple little things to correct, and he's going to beat that kid.
Now Niels and Durain as well, two other newcomers, also won titles at the Al Hanke, and overall 32-8 this season. So over that span, what has allowed both of them to be so successful in their first season with the Blue Jays?
Well, Jimmy came in here with a lot of experience. I've known Jimmy for a long time, and he was a huge transfer for us, being an All-American already. So he knows what he's doing, and we're just trying to fine-tune some things, but he's right on track. Keone, again, you bring good freshmen in, you hope they figure things out, and he's figured things out as well as we could hope. I mean, he's right in contention with some of the best kids in the country, so we're hoping to be pushing him on the podium this year.
And then the wrestlebacks are an interesting thing where you lose and then you have to come back and be able to wrestle sometimes 5 or 6 matches to be able to come back. And 2 wrestlers that did a great job of that were Caleb Ramos and Nick DiNardo, who both took 3rd. And just explain how hard it is to lose an early round and then have to come back and win 5 or 6 matches just to place 3rd.
Yeah, it's a painful way to do things. And, as a coach, one of the things you look for is how guys are reacting to things, because they're not going to always go well. And, Nick lost a pretty sloppy first match. And, again, you want to look and see, is he going to bounce back? Is he going to feel sorry for himself? And he did an incredible job of pulling himself back together and just, taking it one match at a time. And he beat some really good guys along the way to place 3rd. And, same thing with Caleb. He just wasn't firing in one of his matches and, probably lost a match he shouldn't have. But again, got himself back. We talked about him finishing the tournament right, and he did. So that's the biggest thing is a lot of times placing 3rd is much harder than winning the tournament, just from the mental aspect.
And now a duel with the University of Chicago coming up next, and a couple of marquee matchups with some wrestlers that are just outside of the top 10 in the rankings. At 65, it'll be Durain and Ferraro, one that we saw in the Al Hanke, and that Durain was able to win that by decision, I believe. And then Morris and Papaseats, who we did not get to see. They were the top 2 seeds at 174, but they didn't wrestle each other. So what are you overall looking for in this duel from your team? And then maybe what about those matchups specifically?
Well, from a team standpoint, Chicago beat us last year in a really close duel, so we want revenge. And that was the same thing when we had Concordia. They beat us last year, and we really picked it up this year. So there's going to be these close matches, and that's how the duels are won. You have to find ways to do that. So we'll be scouting the guys, we'll be watching film, we'll be making those little adjustments to try to get these guys to distance themselves a little bit. And it's going to be a tight duel. It's going to be fun.
Sounds good. Well, enjoy the duel. Good luck, and thanks for joining me here.
Thanks, Luke.